Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's session of Unplugged with Ross. My name is Roslyn Miner, and I'm really excited tonight to have Nancy Kimunto Mokua. She is the CEO of My Jobs in Kenya. This is a brand that is known widely in Kenya. And tonight she will be joining us as we tackle the topic of the day, a front row to talent, stories, patterns, and hard truths. Nancy has more than 20 years experience across sales, telecommunications, financial services, legal branding, HR. Over and above being the CEO of My Jobs in Kenya, she sits on the Leaders Governance Board in a new school HR forum. It's a forum of senior HR executives that actually vary from 26 countries. So it's a big platform of senior HRs that share their insights, inputs, and we all learn from one another. Tonight we are engaging Nancy as Nancy the headhunter. Nancy that has seated in boardrooms, Nancy that has sat with employers. She knows what is trending within the market, how to get the toughest talent. And I'm really excited to have her here tonight, and we will be engaging her thoroughly. Nancy, karibu sana.
Oh, Asante. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to interact.
Very pleased and honored to have you here. As is our norm, let's start with some interesting statistics about the topic of tonight. 45% of employers globally say they struggle to find qualified candidates despite high number of applicants. 60% of recruiters say hiring the right person is harder today than ever before. Over 80 prioritize skills and experience over qualifications alone. Up to 30% of critical roles are filled with less than ideal candidates due to hiring pressure. And last but not least, only about 1 in 3 job seekers feel truly interview ready. Does that ring a bell, Nancy?
Yes, yes. Story of every day.
I can only imagine the frustration that comes when, not getting the right person. So, to start us off,
Yeah.
you sit at a unique intersection: employers, candidates, HR leaders, and boards. From where you sit, what do most professionals misunderstand about about how hiring decisions really happen?
I think how I can approach this is when I look at the job seekers, you know, some of the job seekers have perceptions that have been formed by their interactions with other job seekers, perceptions that go around in the market, perceptions that probably they've come across in social media, and also their own experience, because I keep saying that companies are run by individuals, and these individuals have different personalities, different backgrounds, different environments. So all these things, and even how they associate, affect how these things happen. So, and that is, and all these things, when you put them on the table, they're different, because when I look at it from a company, like for example, if I use an example of, for example, a company looking for two companies looking for an accountant, both of them will want a certain um, caliber of candidates, or they'll want certain qualities that could be different from the other, because also it depends with their own unique environment and the industries they are in. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes,
Mhm.
you have. And I think you mentioned something to do with
Yes.
perceptions, and perceptions can be positive or negative. How can someone overcome that, bias that can come with a perception, either out of experience or out of what you have learned from the grapevine or social media? How can someone keep that clean mindset when they are
Mm.
engaging?
I think the easiest thing I can tell people and the simplest thing I can tell people at the end of the day, what is your why? Before you need to close all the noises, because when you know what your why is, you're going to approach things systematically. It's like having a goal. Your goal is to find a job. You're right now, I have no job. I want to find employment. How do I go about it? It's like setting a goal. Or I want to change roles. I want to change, or rather leave this organization for another organization. What am I looking for? What is my why? I'm looking for growth. What is my why? Okay, my spouse has been transferred to another town, a different country. I need to fit in. What is your why? I've been in this role for quite a number of years and I feel like I'm not growing. What is your why? I have acquired new skills either through the work that I've been doing, or I've gone to school and acquired new certification and I feel it is time for a new challenge. What is your why? Because now your why is going to help you to decide whether to embrace certain perceptions or to close the noise and focus. Then you have your goal and you decide, okay, this is my goal. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 within a certain period of time. Yes. So at the end of the day, I keep saying, what is your why? And also, what is your career development plan? Are you thinking about it? Where do you want to go? So that you are thinking as an individual. You're not thinking like the way we say in Kiswahili, kufatana kama mambuzi. Hapana. Yes. So that's what I can say for that. Yes. Have your why very clear. Just sit down with your notebook, write down, what do I want? And then start working towards that goal as an individual. Don't think about perceptions, because now these perceptions, to me, they're also an excuse. They could be right, they could be wrong. How many organizations do we have? We've got thousands of organizations. So not all organizations behave the same. You get? So you cannot say all employers, because you've heard of this perception from a friend, you imagine all recruiters, all employers behave the same. No.
I like that. The fact that we should quit generalizing
Yes.
that everyone is seated on the same level field, and
Yeah.
most importantly, that bit of what is your why. Is it your
Mm,
growth? Is it
yes.
because there's relocation coming into play? Is it because you want to pivot? Is it because and are you pivoting because you're changing careers, or the line of work that you do, or it's because you have new skills? That
Yeah.
clarity
Or
of thought.
yes, or even redundancies are coming.
Yeah.
The company, the nature of business has changed. We live in a very dynamic society. So every 2 years, every 3 years, things are changing. So you cannot expect to be doing the same thing for long. Things are changing. Look at the way a long time ago we had permanent contracts. Now it's term contracts. Now, even you have to think of yourself like a business person. You're doing this consultancy, 6 months, you finish. You have to now plan well, work on your skills. Yeah.
I totally agree. At the moment, the future of work, permanent and pensionable, is actually not even that attractive to many.
Mm,
So it's those interim roles, short-term roles. What does that look like for you?
yeah. Mm.
Now, what has surprised you most about how the talent market has evolved over the last few years?
Oh, I feel talent market what has surprised me. It's not surprising, because the only thing that is constant in life is change.
Change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. The only thing that is constant in life is change. And when I look at, because I've been doing this for quite some time, like, for example, in my jobs in Kenya, I've been running this since 2013, and I have seen the changes coming. Like the way I keep saying, every 3 years, new things are cropping up and there are new changes. Like, for example, the way technology changes. So the expectations are different. The needs of the market are different. You have to pivot to address that technology. And then we had changes during COVID. You remember when we went into remote
Yes.
work, and right now I even get up. Some people still look for remote work. They are now few in between. People have
Yeah.
gone back to offices. Those are the changes. You have to be, you need to be aware what's happening in the world of news. Apart from watching series and TikTok, you also have to follow what's happening in the world of news and know this is going to affect you eventually. What's happening in the developed world also comes, there's a ripple effect that comes to affect us here.
Yeah.
So technology has affected how the job market is, and of course, the nature of the economy, also the government in place, the policies that the government sets, also that one affects things like, for example, you see the way we keep introducing new tax brackets, or even the government will try to incentivize. There was a time, remember, organizations were really, even up to now, encouraged to take on interns so that they could have a tax rebate, those kind of
Yeah.
things. So all these things affect how eventually the job market behaves. Yeah.
I agree with you on that. The fact that the impact of technology that it has
Mm,
had in the world of work, and especially the perfect example being COVID,
yeah.
where any organization that had not adapted to embracing technology was forced 0 to 100.
Yeah.
You have
Mm,
to. Organizations that never thought that they could thrive away from the office,
yeah.
working from home actually proved productivity again for some people is actually higher when they are
Mm,
working remotely than they are.
yeah.
Working from home also has an impact with aspects to do with commute,
Yes.
aspects to do with the construction side, aspect of side of things, where you really don't need to have a really big office space. All of a
Yeah.
sudden hot desking came into
Mm,
play.
yes.
So
Yes.
all these things have affected the way the office environment is like and what is being demanded of the future
Mm,
in
yeah.
terms of staff. Now that now takes us to the next section where we are
Mm,
distinguishing talent in the hiring rooms.
yes.
From your vantage point, what traits consistently make candidates stand out strongly in competitive hiring processes?
Oh, traits. First of all, let's be realistic, because now we have so many job seekers looking for fewer jobs. And
Yeah.
the irony is, we have so many companies looking for the right fit. So like where I sit, I am the me representing my jobs in Kenya. I'm the perfect bridge to bring these two people together. So number one, as I said before, different companies have different needs. Every job is unique to the organization. Why? Because also some roles, companies, of course, since they're run by different people, and people are the one who set the culture. So sometimes, yes, you've got the papers. However, your qualities as a person or your personality might not gel with the people in a certain department, or you either as a supervisor or you as an entrant into a team because of your personality. And your personality, as we have mentioned before, can be affected with where you're working before, because that one has you are in another culture, where probably you're in a different country or you're going to a different country, they've got a different culture, what you've gone through, because you might be having, you might have been in a toxic work environment and you've got trauma, and you imagine, you're carrying this trauma, you've not dealt with it, and you imagine, that HRs, as much as the HRs work for the company, there's no trust. Yes, and you're not looking at things as an individual. But your trauma, yes, it is valid, but how do you deal with it? So the traits that companies are looking for, I want to emphasize that the traits are they would be unique to the job, they'll be unique to the company. However, there are things that are obvious. Like for example, you've applied for this position. There's a job description or the J. What skills are they looking for? They're looking for probably a key account manager in a FMCG. So, have you worked in an FMCG industry or you are in a service industry? So you are competing against people. So we as recruiters, we keep emphasizing and telling the job seekers, when you're applying for a position, please do not think you're the only one. Before you start the application process, ask yourself, how will you stand out? Because your CV is supposed to open the door for you so that you are at the doorstep. And then another thing that can also affect, which is the reality now with technology, we've got AI. As a recruiter, as an organization, have you critiqued how AI is sieving, filtering your candidates? It might be filtering, it's a robot. So it might be filtering, and then you end up with the wrong candidates and you're going back because you've not really queried, looked at it. Like if it's a big organization, you've got, let's say, 12,000 staff, you've invested in this technology. But let's say I'm the head of people and culture, chief human resource, head, whatever titles we call you, but the chief. So, but I've never probably attempted to apply for a job as an accountant that we've posted or customer service representative to know how is this AI responding. I sat probably in the presentation, I heard how it's going to help us filter, but I've not tested it. So, do you know now technology can also present unique challenges? So, what I'm trying to say is before we invest in technology to also help us in filtering candidates, let's fold our sleeves, let's understand the product. Also, it is very important also for a recruiter or an organization that is also engaging um, a third party like myself to understand what product we are going into. Not all of us do the same thing. Don't assume all of us, this is the headhunting and it should be this way. You get. But as for job seekers, what I would say, if your CV has the skills required for this job description, you've worked in that industry, because now industry specific skills stand out, because people don't want to train, they have no time for training. They want you to join after you've gone through the induction, orientation, and all, you hit the ground running because you've been given your KPIs and they expect results. At the end of the day. So those are the traits I'm talking about. So all the time, and then you'll be surprised if you've not interacted with someone like us or with jobs. Do you know we still the CVs I was taught to write? I think it was in primary school. 2026, I've seen those CVs. You're like, hey, yes. So also, we don't fault job seekers. Now, what I say sometimes, we as recruiters, have we also given back to the schools, gone to meet the job seekers as they are just about to graduate? Have we spoken to the universities, the colleges, the career department to guide them? Have we also spoken to the organizations themselves? Many organizations will tap directly from schools so that they can grow the talent because they know the kind of traits they're looking for. We are looking for people in technology, want to go, for example, to JKU Art. We want this caliber of candidates. You see, so all that affects the job market. Yeah.
I love the insights that you've said, aspects to do with personality, aspects to do with
Yes.
attitude.
Yes.
I dare say PTSD, because
Mm,
yes, you can come from a very toxic environment, and
mm,
because you did not have psychological safety
yeah.
for you to attune yourself that we are not all the same, it becomes very hard. But
Yeah.
also, yes, the skills and the CV strength in terms of, are you really reflecting what is needed for the job? But you and I
Mm,
know that sometimes candidates can tweak their CVs, can tweak their applications to suit that role specifically.
yeah.
It doesn't
Mm,
really translate to them being good at the job itself. But also at the moment, I've also noted the need for not just one line of skills. In as much as I went to HR and did, human resources, I also need to embrace data analytics. I also need to embrace all these tidbits of information for you to be a nice all rounded kind of person.
mm.
But there's a question that a lot of people out here or people in the job market will ask.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, someone that, for example, has been in FMCG or in manufacturing or in
Mm.
aviation, and the role is in that particular field, they
Yeah.
would get the first, the first pick. But the question is, someone can ask, aren't you, risking the having the risk of having the same form of mindset? Because, for example, if
Mm.
you take someone who has been in, say, hospitality, and the role is in
Mm.
FMCG, their thought
Mm.
process is totally different and they can actually see something differently. But
Yeah.
someone who is FMCG, straight into FMCG, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that you risk the probability of having the same thought process, same mindset going on. And you
Mm.
wonder, where is the innovative side spirit
Yeah.
within the company? How can we change that narrative?
That's a very good question. So there are two ways I look at it. One is, also it's up to the organization. However, how you change it is number one, you'll only be shortlisted if you have the technical skills. That is one. So you have the technical skills and you're from a different industry. The next thing to do is to ensure you stand out in the interview. Yeah. Now that is now where you are able to flip the script, because based on, because you've got the skills and the know-how and your interactions. Sometimes, yes, you've been working in a certain industry, but also you've been, for example, you sit in a board somewhere. You're working, yes, for FMCG, let's say that, but through your local church, you're also volunteering where they go to support a particular NGO. Do you see? And
Yeah.
since you did CPA, you're also volunteering. You are, for example, in the side where you understand how to balance PNL. So you can advise, because now you sit in that board. So there comes your experience that probably you're overlooking with the non-profit sector.
Yeah.
Do you see? You're volunteering. So the thing is, in between, that's why we talk about what's your plan at the end of the day, like what's your career development plan, where do you see yourself in 5 years, then you walk backwards, because these days after COVID you're like, hey, 5 years is a long time. So but where do you see people changing jobs within a year, 2 years, but also you don't want to appear like someone who is just jumping through jobs. Are you jumping from this job to another because you can see the fire coming, and you want to ship out before they ship you out? That is one. Are you jumping from one job to another because you're telling us all these organizations that the culture was toxic? The only constant person there, the only
It's you.
constant thing is you. Do you see? So sometimes we tell people, also, you look at yourself, these places you've worked at, or you've gone for 6 interviews and they are regretting you. Why? They could be regretting you because probably they want someone from out of town, and you keep applying for this job and you've seen clearly location is Kisumu and you're based currently in Nairobi, yet, and you cannot, probably you've never grown up in Kisumu. There are some jobs where they need that community know-how. They're like, okay, are you willing to relocate? Yes. But when they see, you've never grown up or lived in the western side, they will also think twice. So all these things affect. So I keep saying, just so have an open mind, but also how you present yourself. Even that introduction of your CV is important, because people want to know the skills you have, the years of experience that you have, the probably education qualification, any special certifications. Because, like, for example, roles like in IT, they require certifications from time to time.
Yeah.
Have you done the more certifications you have? Like, for example, if you want to be the chief cyber security officer, there are certain certifications that you must have beyond just having your IT degree. Yes, so I just keep saying that the one thing I encourage people to do is, yeah, look at where you want to go. Also, look at what kind of job would you be doing in the next 3 years, 5 years. What do those jobs require, and ask yourself whether you've done your own development, personal development. How are you building yourself? Have you gone back to school? Have you acquired those required certifications? Are you networking in the right circles, not just networking? How are you networking? Because it's not just about someone saying your name, you're not in the room, positively, of course, because also sometimes, small organizations would not invest in engaging, for example, a recruitment agency because they don't want to pay. They would probably ask someone to refer. But those people, also another thing I want to say is entitlement. I don't know whether it's entitlement or what. You've been referred, you think you have a god papa, a god mama. You go there with attitude. It will also affect because you think you're protected. And then now you don't know you're also affecting the bottom line for that organization at the end of the day. Because now they are working on referral, but the people who are being referred are not delivering. Then you say this person is not a good person. They are chasing you away. Yeah, that's what I can say for that.
No, you said something very key. I mean,
Mm,
sometimes it's like in any business, referral business normally stays. But
yeah.
you, as a candidate, if you do not play your part
Mm,
and go deliver your candidacy, why you
yeah.
actually make the right candidate for that job. It
Yes.
doesn't matter how many people speak positively of you, but if you
Yeah.
cannot deliver that, then
Ah.
it's all
Mm,
on you. The failure is actually all on you.
yeah.
And you mentioned something really important, the need to look at short, mid, and long term goals.
Yeah.
I don't think we take the time to review what we want to be in the future and preparing ourselves for that.
Yeah.
We expect that just the hands of, I mean, the years of experience we have is
Mm,
enough, but
yeah.
we fail to understand that technology is always changing. So are you
Mm,
prepared for what that looks like in the future? So I think that that is very critical.
mm.
Now, what behaviors build immediate confidence in a candidate and which ones quietly erode it? I think once we can start with that attitude aspect where you think you're protected because someone has referred you to a role. But
Yeah.
what do you think?
So we are talking about soft skills, basically. These are behaviors, these are attitudes. How do people experience you? When you're amongst people, when you enter a room or when you're amongst your peers, how do they experience you? So that is what we're talking about, these behaviors. So number one, any negative behavior will affect you. You might even the way you treat your watchman tells people a lot. When you go to a restaurant, the way you treat the servers, that's part of your attitude. You might think it will not affect you at work, but at work, how are you also treating those people who are there to just ensure that we excel and thrive at what we do? Like the places where you sit are clean, you know, the washrooms are fresh and clean, dry. The when you're going for your coffee, there's water when you go for it. How do you also treat those people? Because the people who you feel are beneath you in the social stratification, if I call it that, how do you relate with them? And how do you relate to the people who are above you
Yeah.
in that stratification? Are you so if you are treating these people negatively, so are you sucking up? Are you stacking up there? So are you authentic? In other words, what positive, and positive characters are easy to tell. Are you being polite doesn't mean you're weak. Being kind doesn't mean kind with your words doesn't mean you're weak. I keep saying it's how people experience you at the end of the day. That is one. Having the right attitude, being polite, courteous, being confident. Those are positive and how do you build confidence? It's exactly understanding your craft. When you understand your craft, you've got confidence. right? And then
Yes.
also positive attitudes that will affect how you proceed is even at work. Do you volunteer to do tasks? Do you volunteer to stand in? Or how do you, when a colleague has not come in and you have to lift extra weight, how do you treat that? How do you behave? Or when people are working on rotation, during the Christmas holiday, you know, how do you look
Mm.
at it? Are
Yeah.
you also, do you have gratitude? Are you grateful that, yes, for now, I have this job that is helping me do A, B, C, D, even though it's not your dream job, but at least you've got a job. Someone else has been looking for a job for a long time and they've not found it. Positive attitude. So the negative attitudes, of course, when you're at the workplace, um, would be the opposites of what I've said, how you relate with others, also you not adhering to your workplace policies. Now sexual harassment is very rife. We are not living in the Neanderthal age where people would just make comments. At least people these days are all about their feelings, how you make them feel. People want to feel safe so that they may be able to thrive, to think emotionally safe, mentally safe, because also people are coming from different homes. We are now 2026. A lot of people have also grown up in broken homes. They've seen, so these things also affect them. So for me, I would just say ensure that the Bible, go back, treat others as you want to be treated at the end of the day. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're a weak person. you know if the way, ask yourself, if you see someone talking to another person, or how they're arrogant, if someone did that to you, how would you feel? And why are you doing it? To be feared? Yeah, I would rather you get respect other than people fearing you. They're scrappling or they're quiet when you're around, and when you're not there, they're bickering behind your back. you know they'll see fire coming and they'll not tell you. Yes.
True.
So it's about the positive that let's just go back to the basics. Yes. Having good manners. Yes. Being good. When you say you'll do something, do it. If you're not able to do it, just politely say you're not able to do it. Be the better version of who you were yesterday. It's important. And if it's not working for you, you'd rather find work somewhere else other than stay in an organization where you're not happy, you're bickering, you're gossiping. Now you're bringing this bad culture, or you've decided, you have to steal, you have, those negative traits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Now, I think the thing about soft skills, it's one of those things that has had a lot of people are coming to appreciate the strength that soft skills has to offer, not only
Mm.
as a candidate but also in the workplace environment. And as you rightly said, people interaction, respect,
Mhm.
courtesy, politeness,
Mm.
confidence, going that extra mile always leaves a positive impact to people. So
Yeah.
the same applies to the candidates, how they show up, or even how
Mm.
they pick, when you're calling someone and how someone just picks the phone. You
Yeah.
can actually know the kind of, persona or personality you're dealing with just by
Mm.
what soft skills has to offer.
Mm.
What separates candidates who are impressive on paper from those who feel genuinely appointable in real life? I think this is a build up of what you've just said.
Yes, it is. And you also mentioned earlier, even today, people looking for new jobs, they'll find an expert to write for them their CV. They'll find a coach to take them through coaching, those who have that opportunity. But if you don't have the opportunity, or before you take that step, research. This is the job you've seen. Do you understand the organization? Have you looked up the organization? Who are the people in that organization? You know, do your research. Then also look at your papers. Do they have what the organization is asking for? That is one. And then next thing, it's just you knowing. I keep saying you need to know what you want. When you have the opportunity to be shortlisted for the interview, there you should now decide, this is my job. Make sure you are well prepared. Always prepare. Always prepare. Don't take it for granted. And then appearances matter. Let's not discount that. People, when you walk through that door, people, we are human beings. They have perceptions about you. I keep telling also the people entering the job market, young or re-entering the job market, don't assume things. Be neat, be smart, because you're hopefully going to represent that organization. Obviously they want someone clean, smelling fresh. Doesn't mean you have to invest in an expensive perfume or cologne. Even a good deodorant would do. For men, just clip your nails short and have them clean. This thing of having one nail growing or conduct and becoming. Ah, be neat, be clean, speak. You also have to speak clearly, but speaking clearly is also about preparation. Prepare, prepare, because it helps you feel more confident. When you're going for an interview, be on time, be early, so that you're not running, or you're not, because I play golf, and you realize when you just reach like maybe 20 minutes or 10 minutes before you tee off, you've already upset your natural equilibrium.
Yeah.
But if you arrive half an hour, 45 minutes before, you've relaxed, you've said hi to people, probably you've had a cup of tea, or you've taken soup, or you've just been stretching, or you go to the range and punch a few balls, or you're just talking, you're waiting for, that will be a relaxed game. Same to an interview. Even when you're going for a meeting, you're going to pitch, you have to prepare, so that also the people you are meeting appreciate you. They're like, oh, she did not take us for granted, came on time, appreciated my time. In fact, I think the biggest challenge for most people, most of us, is also that time management. And it's such a beautiful trait when you hear, even when you go, like last week, I was attending a friend's a funeral service, unfortunately, and everyone kept saying how he was a stickler for time. He was always there. For all the 20 plus years they knew him, everyone was standing like, and that's such a beautiful trait to have. People say, that's a timekeeper, because they're like, hey, I'm going to meet Rose. I need to be there 15 minutes before so that she's not upset. You get?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. So
No.
it's a positive trait. Prepare well. And if you know someone who works in that organization, you can also call them and find out. But at the end of the day, have a positive mindset. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Yeah. And then read. Also read, because also there are some people who've been there before you. A lot of people write books. Read before, like I feel, and I always share with my team that create one day a week just for you to focus on yourself. Like, where is your career development plan at? Where have you come from? Where are you now? Where do you want to go? What steps can you take to help you? What constraints are you having? Remove them so that you're able to achieve your goals. Then another thing is, you have to be consistent in whatever it is, the promises you've made to yourself. You have to be consistent. If you start this course, you have to consistently be at it, finish it, get your certification, jump on to the next, start applying for that job. If you are trying to, like, for example, go to the gym or to improve, like I mentioned, like me and golf, I have to keep playing to improve so that I'm better. Yes, it's just those things were talked a long time ago, they apply even in the job market. Yeah.
what I hear from you is
Yeah.
something that we might often ignore.
Mm-hmm.
The traits that are they're not audible, they're visual. The
Yeah.
way you carry yourself, the confidence. Because if you wear confidence very well, someone can actually not know if you really know what you're saying or not. If you find yourself in a really bad situation, but you
Mm,
articulate yourself so confidently, someone might
yeah.
actually buy into your story. Yeah.
Mm,
So
mm,
the fact that you carry yourself confidently, you take care of yourself, that grooming, that positive mindset. Yeah.
yes.
The fact that you are very intentional in what you do, it's
Mm,
actually going to leave a nice positive impression, because
mm,
first impressions matter. If you
yes.
show up at an interview panting, if you're a guy, your tie is loose and you're now trying to adjust and tuck your shirt, someone might think of you really shabby and you really do not know how to manage yourself.
Mm,
But if you show up in a way that you're really confident, the way you walk, the way you're groomed, the way you have
yeah.
your handshake, yeah, your palms are not sweaty, that by itself will leave a
Mm,
certain impression in someone's mind that will either make them want to listen to you more or want to get you out of their face as quickly as possible.
mm,
So let's go to the hard truths. Now, before we get to the hard truths, let's look at the patterns.
mm-hmm.
Across industries and seniority levels, what patterns consistently show up among people who progress?
Wow. You know, another thing, when you look at the seniority where people have come from, sometimes you don't need to apply for a job. What are you doing in the market? Already people know you. We know who is the best commercial director for us. Do you want a man? Do you want a woman? Yeah. Can this person move to West Africa? Can they stay in Kenya? Can we afford them? Where would they want to move? Because now they have a family, they're established. There are things that affect all this, the patterns. So at some level, already when people have arrived at the, mid-level top, they're already set in their ways. They'll only be moving for peculiar reasons, unique to them. Maybe even they would take even a lesser role because, for example, there are new family dynamics or personal dynamics like an illness in the family
Yeah.
or even self, or they've been told by their doctor they need to manage their stress levels, or there are unique things happening in their unit as a family. For example, the a child in school or the spouse, all these things inform how people will make a decision whether to pivot or remain in a particular job. Two, they'll move because now the industry is changing. Like the way we said, the way things keep changing. Now after right now with the you see about social media, if you look at the media industry, things are not the way they were. Advertising has changed. Even when you look at how billboards appear or how they were 5 years ago, 10 years, things keep changing. So these things affect. Now, when you look at also the traits of the seniority level, most of them also are referred. So are you referable? Remember, we're talking about our attitudes when we were working. How did our team members experience us then, our supervisors, even the people who report to us? Because they will be asked, someone will be asked, do you know a guy who can do this? Like, I've got the right guy for you. And right away, they might go to your LinkedIn, look you up. You've moved from here to here. They're like, this is now the lady or this is the man for this job. Are you? Then they will approach you, or someone will even appear, will see the job somewhere or here and call you and tell you, by the way, apply for this. I read the role, the profile of this job, I just saw you excelling. So these things, it's what do people say about you when you're not in the room? It's not just about things for church, but also about the job. Like, for example, you meeting targets and scaling, and while you're doing it, were you leaving dead bodies behind, as I may speak? How are you experienced? Because someone can say, hey, you know that chick, hey, she can sell. But hey, you
Collateral
just need to
damage.
deal. Yes, you have to deal with. Yes. Are we now going to be looking at how to mitigate our reputational damage? Do you see? Oh, that is a really nice guy. Lakini, chasing scat. Hey, we have cases in. Do you see? Are people
Mhm.
moving from this job to another? So, in other words, let's just go back to the basics. Yeah. So for me, I would say, if you know you're also having a challenge to move from one position to the next, also, if you're able to, it's good to get a coach to help you. We have so many career development coaches who can help you identify, because we say, I feel stuck. You feel stuck. Is it because you are addicted to your past and you're afraid of pivoting? You know, sometimes you say, hey, grass is never greener on the other side. But if you go there and it doesn't work out, will you be able to get somewhere else? You know, there are people you keep wondering why certain friends or relatives get jobs so fast. Have you observed them? You know, these people, what are they doing that you're not doing?
There's that thing people say,
Mm.
local slang, akona nyota ya kazi.
Hiyo pia inakwanga ukweli.
Mm.
It can be true for some people. You know, sometimes it's also luck. Sometimes it's luck. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
However, where there's no luck, are you helping God see you? Yeah,
Yeah.
because we now have the basics. We know we need to do, for us to grow, we need to invest in ourselves. And how do we invest in ourselves? We look at where we are now, where we want to go, and we start taking steps towards that. Yeah.
I love that. And especially the tail end. Do you invest in yourself? What is it that
Mhm.
you're doing to help you get out of the funk that you are in?
Mm,
And especially coming to that realization, because yes, that's where coaches come in, because a lot
yes.
of people hide behind the fear, but
Yeah.
then they also don't give themselves the opportunity to know how much greatness they can get themselves into.
Yeah, but also let me just add quickly, if you
Mhm.
can't afford a coach, because also some of them are not cheap,
Yes.
or you really cannot afford, or you don't have access to them, remember, we also have technology. We've got a lot of information that is free, so long as you're able to have data. There are some data plans you can buy, and instead of spending 6 hours on social media, on videos that make you feel good because you are going through a stressful period, also give yourself 1 hour. Because true, sometimes you're going through a hard time, grief. When you're going through grief, you can't really focus on anything. It's hard. But when you're
Yeah.
having a good day, just give yourself 1 hour of full concentration. Block out all distractions. Decide that 1 hour you've woken up feeling good, or it has just come to you. Maybe you're an evening person, it has come to you at that time. Mute your social media, mute any notifications, dedicate an hour to yourself to work towards your goal. That's why I keep saying, you decide every day. It's either an hour, once a week, you give it 3 hours or so. It's like you decide, I want to write a book. You have to focus, laser focus. You want to be a good salesperson. How do I learn how to close? YouTube has a lot of information. AI, there's a lot of information available right now. You can do a research. You can buy a book on self development so that you can develop. If you want to, like now, if you want to be a financial advisor, or you're curious, you're not able to save money, you're not able to invest money to grow, you can buy a book, learn, read books, talk to people so that you're able to gain knowledge. It might not be expert knowledge, but towards expert knowledge. But you
Yeah.
have to, that's part of investing in yourself. It's part of the self development. You have to read, maybe watch videos, ensure you are learning something new every day or every week. Challenge yourself. Yeah, I think if we all did that in 2026, whatever it is, you just dedicate 1 hour of full concentration, will not be where we are today.
True. Growth mindset has a
Mm,
very big positive impact on any person.
yeah.
And you really don't have to, invest in very financially heavy mechanisms if you cannot afford it.
Yes.
The beauty of the internet and all the data that is there nowadays, you can actually get really good resources
Mm,
without breaking the bank.
yes.
Now, from your side,
Mm.
let's look at the hard truths. Where do you see very capable people unintentionally limiting themselves?
I think it's what we spoke about, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
When we limit ourselves intentionally, is when we also sometimes help ourselves walk towards getting stuck, being complacent, being comfortable, and having a laser sphere attitude, or saying things, this is how things are done here. You don't contribute positively. The beauty, sometimes you feel depressed when a team member leaves. However, when someone resigns, more often than not, sometimes someone new coming in with new ideas from a different culture, or someone younger, and they're bringing fresh energy into the team, fresh ideas they've seen somewhere. It's also, we as so we who are not growing as an organization, are we embracing the new ideas? Are we looking at what competition is doing? Are we looking at where the world is going globally? Are we listening to our customers? And our customer, like now for me, our customers are job seekers, and organizations are recruiting. Are we engaging with recruiters like ourselves to know what changes are coming into the market? And there are people who are also introducing new technology every day. Are we querying that technology? What are the challenges we're having right now? How do we address these challenges? Can we afford it now? Are we looking at 3 years from now? Because sometimes changing technology can take some time, and we need to be realistic, not be impatient. So when we say we're limiting ourselves, is you're limiting yourself because you've not thought about your goals. Sometimes we fall back on our goals. We are not going back. We are giving up. You give up. You're not persistent. You're not consistent. You get discouraged quickly. Things are not working out. After 3 weeks, you say, I've thrown my hands up. You don't have a lion attitude to fight. But I feel sometimes we need to be persistent, but in the right area. Sometimes you also say you don't want to keep doing the same thing expecting different results. So do you know what you're doing? Towards what? What are the constraints you're having? Are you able to overcome these challenges so that you move from point A to point B? Will you be consistent enough? Are you courageous enough to stay and deal with these constraints? Okay, can you concentrate and focus so that you're able to address these things? At the end of the day, do you have a positive attitude? And then also, who are your social circle, or the people you hang out with?
Yeah.
The 5 people you spend a lot of time with, or do we say 6 people? They will tell someone what kind of a person you are. How do you spend your free time? also. Yeah. Those are the things that limit us. You decide every year if you're the same person in 2026 that you were in 2023, and you're not thinking of being a different person by the end of 2026. Actually, what do you want to have achieved by March? After COVID, we cannot look at those 5 years, as I said. Let's work with small, small plans. March, June, every
Yeah.
quarter, you've done something. And then we are Uko, October, December. What are these small things that you can achieve within 1 year? The ones for 6 months, the ones for 3 months. Then do them. Make a promise to yourself, yeah, and achieve them.
Now, let us assume that in the perfect world, people take that to heart. You have that
Yeah.
growth mindset. You want to
Mm.
grow, you want to challenge the status quo. But now the challenge is with the organizations. The
Mm.
organization is quick to say, we want fresh blood. We want people that are innovative thinking. And you, as the headhunter or the recruiter, you
Mm.
go ahead, get that person. But when they get into the system, there is nothing innovative, there is nothing fresh, there is nothing enabling about what they can do or supportive of what they can do,
Mm.
because the organizations themselves are not changing or are
Mm.
not getting adaptive of also what the environment is offering. I remember back in the day when there was a discussion about millennials, the same
Mhm.
way we're having the discussion about Gen Zs,
Yes.
there was this huge hullabaloo about
Mm.
millennials.
Mm.
And then millennials, everyone adapted to millennials. Now we're on the Gen Zs.
Yeah.
And it's that cycle that is happening. And the question is, if the talent is there that can actually provide that innovative, fresh mindset or thinking or ideas on the
Yes.
table,
Mhm.
how can we change the organizations to also adapt to that change?
Yeah. Change management. Do they want, first
Yes.
of all, to change?
There you go.
One. Can they look at themselves? When you do a survey, are they accepting or they're not part of the survey? It's always the people in the other side, the lower cadre. Are they involved? Why have you engaged this firm to carry out a survey and why do we want change management? Is the board also on board, or you're the only one on board? If it's not embraced at the top and at the bottom, ah, that
You're
one
done
we are
for.
wasting time. Yes. So the reason is, why do we want it? What challenges are we trying to address? How do we address them? How committed are we to them? Or are we just doing it on paper? Because that's a lot of time consuming and also resources, you know. So it's about the an organization is about the attitude of the leadership. The leadership will set the tone, and is the leadership agile enough to listen and also to embrace the change, implement the change, so that you all grow together. And then, is the information, are we able to cascade this information to department heads? Do they understand our strategy and are they able to communicate the strategy well? Are the team members understanding why we are doing this now, where we want to go, based with the challenges? And are we communicating? If there are some team members are struggling, they're not meeting their goals or the KPIs set by the company, is it that they're not meeting because suddenly the person is weak? You could have someone who was performing well 3 years ago, and you're wondering what has been happening to this person. Have they
Yeah,
checked out? Maybe they have not even checked out. You've not really sat down to look, because now you keep changing the goalposts, not communicating well, and you're confusing the person who is supposed to deliver.
true.
These things can affect. You want to put someone on PIP, yet you've just suddenly come to change the goalposts. You do not know where we've come from, what the KPIs were. The supervisor has not really communicated properly or sat down to understand the challenges of the job, or the deliverables are not so clear, or even the tools to deliver, the support is not really there. You see, you might even bring someone else who is not also able to do it, and you're not listening.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's about listening and also having an attitude to be alive and look within ourselves and see what has changed. Is it, have we changed our systems and processes? And why did we do that? Is it someone who came and introduced something new, or we are not suddenly listening to people, or we are trying to copy something that is happening in another organization, yet the environment is different? Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm,
Absolutely.
mhm,
Now, if someone hasn't moved in their career for years,
mhm.
what should they examine honestly before blaming the market?
Oh, and they want to move. You know, some people don't want to move.
Some people are just
One,
comfortable where they are there.
yes, and also we should not look at it negatively. Yes, that staying in a job for a long time is a bad thing, but also sometimes you're right, they could be comfortable, they're not challenged enough. Or remember, we talked about being stuck.
Yeah.
You know, you're so used to the weaknesses that you have, and you're so scared to work on them. And now also ageism is a factor. You see, people
Yes.
want to hire younger, more energetic people. So where are you going? Or there's some people who work in organizations where the only place you are supposed to pivot upwards, but this person is not moving. And then there's no else to go horizontal, that you're performing your tasks. Eh?
Yes.
So you as an individual, first of all, remember your why. Are you able to meet your personal goals? Even if you are still in that role, why don't you want to move? Remember, we say people are driven by different things drive people differently. Or have you been trying to find a job and you're not finding, or you're just complacent and the company is not complaining about you? Are you, do you feel you're contributing? All these things, it's about people's personality. But also, are you having, when you're doing your performance management plans, and then also you're doing your reviews, you know, does the organization understand also your personal goals clearly, or are they supporting you? Are you comfortable with the status quo? Because an organization also wants to make money and they want to thrive. If they are comfortable with you, both of you are just, they are comfortable. The thing is, what I want to emphasize is,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, organizations are run by different individuals. Organizations have different cultures. Organizations have different strategies. Organizations have, you know, and it's the individuals that make organizations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's either today or yesterday where I read, it's actually a LinkedIn post that I read, where someone had said, companies will treat you the same way you want them to treat you. So if you're very comfortable in what you're doing, if you do not know how to advocate for yourself, the company is not going to advocate for you.
Mm,
There's the other school of thought of, if you want to earn more, then you have to jump ship after a certain duration of time.
mm,
But sometimes you might find yourself, you might get the ideal employer. Does that mean that you will jump ship just for the sake of it? No. But how do you grow yourself within the ecosystem of that organization, that
mm,
your value is
mhm.
noted, it is seen, but at the same time, no one is taking advantage of you? It's a very intricate balance to try to make.
Yeah. At the end of the day, what I say, my personal experience or observation or philosophy, actually, that's the right word, is
Philosophy.
You're your own individual, first of all.
Yeah.
You're in this organization. Yes. Let's go with the first one that you said. Companies will treat you the way you want them to treat you. So what is it that you're looking for at the end are you just there to, to ensure that you pay your bills, to pay your mortgage? It could be that way. Or there's someone who's coming and you can see, the way they say in Kiswahili, anakanyagia watu sana. Or you don't want to be loud, they'll notice you and start looking for things for you. You see? But you as an individual, well, you're in that organization, the people who are thriving, remember we said this, the people who are productive, thriving, what is it that they're doing and you're not doing? Will you say when they're networking or they're sucking up, or probably this task that they volunteered for or they're participating in, they're doing it so well and they're always ready. Their attitude is different from yours. Always, first of all, do a self examination. And that's usually the hardest thing for many of us as human beings, looking at ourselves. Because even when you have a conflict at work, a conflict at home, conflict amongst your peers or with a peer, a friend, a relative, it's sometimes it's two-sided. More often than not, what is your contribution in it? How can you be a better person? The relationship can break entirely and forever, but how did that experience shape you as an individual? So the same is also for the places that we work. You might have a conflict at the workplace, but how does it not affect you when you go somewhere else? Remember, people will do background checks. What will these people say about you? Or what will they find out when they check? So
True.
I guess, yes, it's about, first of all, do you understand the role clearly? And if it's not clear, have you asked your supervisor so that you're able to meet your KPIs? And then you're able to challenge yourself to go beyond so that you know what you're doing, where you want to go. Because companies will always look for someone who is doing well somewhere so that they can bring those qualities here
Yeah.
and then we can grow. Yes. So it's not just about harvesting all the customers and taking there, but you as a person, still your attitude is off. The customers also know. Sometimes it's not about you, they like the company. Yeah. So you go somewhere else, grass is greener on the other side, they don't follow you. Hey, and you promised heaven and earth. You bring earth only.
Or you only bring the dust from
Mm,
us.
mm, 90 days, 90 days. Eh.
You have nothing to show.
Yes.
Okay. The need to know what is it that you want. The need to do a personal SWOT
Mm,
and using that criteria to advocate for yourself.
mm,
It doesn't mean that you're going on a campaign mode. It just means that you're strategic in what it is that you want to achieve and
mm.
the game plan that you lay out.
Yeah.
Now, let us come to the leadership lens. From your side of the table, how
Mm.
much do leadership quality and organizational maturity influence hiring outcomes? So I bet you've seen a lot of organizations coming your way, and everyone will have an array of demands to have.
Mm.
But the leadership quality and organizational maturity, how does it impact the success of the hiring?
Also, it depends with the kind of board you have and what they want. It will depend with depending also with the organization or remember earlier on we were talking about the policies in place, like government policies and stuff like that. But the leadership qualities that you're looking for, what matters most for this organization? Integrity, We are looking for a leader who is very well networked, because this is what we want. We are going into a new market. We want someone who is familiar with this Central African region. We are going to build, also they will decide to invest in the leader. What they don't have, they invest in the leader. So different things, yes, different things depends with different organizations. Also, the clients that the organization, the nature of the clients they have, the clientele, they might decide, we need to focus on this area of leadership, because our clients now, the demographic is different.
Yeah.
Like now, you see, now there are younger people, and probably your products are for this
Mid to high
younger
net.
generation.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to have a leader who is, the age of their father or their mother,
Boomers. Hmm.
you know, because
Yeah.
now even the clientele is from a different demographic. You see, so
Yeah.
all these leadership qualities can affect. You might actually have a very someone who is really qualified, although they are young. And if everyone up there in the board, your stakeholders, they're of a different age, they'll just say, okay, give it a few years. Okay, they will not say that because that's discrimination on age, but of course they will regret, but they'll go for someone they like. Or it's the other way around. They're looking for a younger person because now this product is, we need to launch this product, and the avenues of launching the target market is of this kind of age.
Yeah.
So all these things will also affect the leader that you have. And then now you look at the team dynamics and the support. What support are the stakeholders offering this leader? Yes, but the leadership qualities at the end of the day, of course, character is very important. And good characters will start with integrity, the right attitude. You know, what do people say about this person out there? How is this
Yeah.
person experienced there?
I agree that every role must meet, the role demands, be it the demographic, be it the target market, what it is that the organization is
Mm,
trying to achieve. As we come to like the tail end of this conversation, I cannot believe that an hour has already passed.
mhm.
Final two questions for me.
Yeah.
How do compliance, governance, and culture show up as real filters in hiring, not just as a HR language?
Mm,
Compliance, governance, and culture.
yeah.
How does it show up?
Yeah. The blueprint of the organization is their leadership also, and their culture. Like when you look at the public institutions and the NGOs or the private sector, there are things which are common, there are things which are different, depending with the market. At the end of the day, are we
Yeah,
serious about these things, or do we just say them for brand equity or to safeguard our brand?
yeah,
Because when you're looking at the issues of compliance, how do we mitigate our risks? How exposed are we? you know and do we have the right people, the right tools? Do we have the capacity internally to ensure we are mitigating our risk and saving resources? Because we can ignore some risks or take them for granted, and you end up, the financial financial penalties can be quite high. But as an organization, what is our challenge with that? Do we have the capacity, or as a board, are we supporting the leadership of the organization well? Are we walking the talk also? You know, and what tools do we have? What systems are we invested in to close the loopholes? Like the when you look at things like whistleblowing, what mechanisms are we using? How do we ensure that our staff feel safe? They're not just thinking, even if I say yeah, you will know, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's about walking the talk, being true to our word, and let's, as in leadership, I feel we should not fear to be truthful, fear that by communicating well, if you're not making profits, really, where will you, and people are not selling, where will you get money to increase salaries? People are saying, oh, we are strained, we need more staff, we need this. But yeah, like, I think you also have to have open communication the right way, so that everyone understands where we are right now. Why do we have these challenges? How are we actually overcoming them? When you have those town halls, and are you listening, and are you implementing, or you're just listening? Why do we keep having these challenges? Do people understand, so that also your staff can support the organization? So I feel that's important. Just being authentic and being real helps.
I like the fact that your response to this question actually goes back to the internal mechanism of the organization. What they do
Mm,
day to day will actually impact how that decision will come about, because
mm,
obviously if the organization does not promote psychological safety, if it does not
yeah.
have aspects of risk mitigation, if it does not,
Mm,
walk the talk, then
yeah.
even when it comes to attracting talent, the people that
Yes.
are already within that ecosystem will be a great SI unit or litmus test of,
Yeah.
do I really want to engage with that brand or
Yeah.
not?
True.
So,
Mm,
yes, absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, final question. If professionals made one shift in
Mm.
how they position themselves, what would create the biggest difference?
Mm.
So I
That's
think
an
personal brand.
interesting.
Yeah, personal
Mm,
brand.
yeah. That, because personal brand is wide, you know,
Very.
your
Yeah.
personal brand is wide. And remember, I feel everything at the end of the day, the premise of our conversation tonight, at the end of the day, is on what your why is. If you want to start working on your personal brand, what's the problem with your current brand? Is it lacking? Do you need more visibility? And where? Because now visibility is important, but it needs to be to the right target, right visibility,
Yep.
not the wrong visibility. Remember, also, when you look at the people coming into the job market, the visibility, what are you posting on social media? When there's this heated debate, how are you commenting? How are you leaving your tracks? Because remember, even when you're applying for visas, they check your social media.
Yep.
When you're applying for jobs, certain jobs, many jobs, they check on your social media.
Yep.
Because how you respond to people, you might have, why do you have pseudonyms? Or why do you've opened other secret accounts? Because you are a social media, you're a bully, online bully. That tells people a lot about you. You're having something you are running away from, you're not addressing issues that you have, and you're pouring this negativity into other people. You're not gonna thrive in the workplace. So what is your why at the end of the day? And then how do you ensure that you're working also towards your goals? Career development plan. What can I do with what I have right now? Not all of us are going to be at the same level. but I'm here now. How can I make it work? I want to be there tomorrow. But in the meantime, how do I thrive in this space? How am I contributing positively in this space? If I left this organization today, what will they say about me? Are you a referable person? Or will people just say, instead of giving negative reviews about you, they're like, no one is saying anything about you. You're not leaving any footprints. Don't you exist? Didn't you exist? That is also, people are now also scared of litigation. But if no one can say anything about you, I'd be curious. I'd be like, hey, that one, there's something there. Everyone I'm calling says, I know her or I know of her. I know him. I know of him. No comment. I don't want to be sued. Or, oh, yeah, we interacted. Not very much. But you can see they interacted a lot, but they're not seeing anything. Why? There's nothing positive. But when you do good things, people talk about it. They're like, oh my God, we were with him. He did this. He's in our church. He did this. Yeah. So
But
that's
you
important. Yeah.
but you'll agree with me, at the same light, there is the
Mm.
aspect of character assassination. You
Yes.
may do you may do your job very well. And I think this is something maybe we need to highlight to anyone out there. The people that you
Mm.
indicate as your referees.
Yeah.
They can either do you good or do you the worst disservice ever, because they can be behind your character assassination. What are your thoughts on that?
No, it's true. And it's unfortunate because the truth is, we also live in a very jealous society. So that's why some people keep everything very close to their hearts. They don't share, they don't, they're shy because of the experience they've had or they've witnessed. So that is true also. But the thing is, when we talk about being positive, and remember, if you believe in God also, they say what is yours will come to you.
True.
And it's true also. Sometimes that character assassination maybe is saving you from another fire that you'd have met 3 months from now. Yeah. But the thing is, that character assassination, yes, can happen. Ask yourself, what role have I played in it? You could be innocent and it's just someone who's jealous about you. But why are they jealous about you? Remember, before we talked about the 5 people or 6 people you hang out with. If you have a friend who's jealous of you, you must know their comments they make, there's a way they behave. Why are they in your circle? Ask yourself, what is it that you have to prove to them or to yourself by still being attached to them? Is it the doors that the kind of spaces they give you access to, yet they intimidate you, or they treat you with arrogance, or they see they're better than you because they grew up in a more wealthier home than yours, or even they are more wealthier currently than you? All these things. But for yourself, who are you as an individual? Do you know who you are as an individual? Because if we know who we are and what we want in life, what makes us twist, do we know what our purpose is? If we don't know yet, but what gives us joy? You see, when you are in a process, when you are serving, what makes you happy? And you do it effortlessly and you're happy to do it. Yeah. That's what I can. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's just taking things a day at a time. We don't have to flip the script so much. You don't have, also we have this copycat mentality, or we are comparing ourselves with others. We're on social media. Why? Why are you jealous of your friend? Or enter, you dig yourself into these holes. If when you're on Instagram and things make you jealous, why are you following that person if you don't like them?
Yeah.
Why? You like the being tortured. That's what I don't understand. If you don't like someone, why are you following them?
Good question.
Yeah.
Good question. And just to reiterate to something you'd said earlier.
Yeah.
The impact of your visibility,
Yes.
it will either support you or be to your detriment. So
Yes.
the kind of activity you have, be it online, whatever it is, when it comes to your image, guard it.
Mm.
Because as I learned recently, image visibility, it actually caters for 60% of
Yeah.
everything that you do.
Mm.
So the effort, yes, the performance, yes, but visibility has a huge, huge impact in everything
Yes.
that you do. Nancy, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes.
It has been a very interesting conversation, not only
Mm.
from a talent acquisition perspective, but that grounded 360 angle of it, what we need to do. And when you talk about talent, it's not just the people that are coming in and in the organization, but the people that are also there, and
Mm.
the challenge to organizations also.
Mm.
You cannot be seeking the best,
Yeah.
but your culture is not supportive of what this best is. You cannot be seeking the best if you cannot define what best is for your
Mm-hmm.
organization and what success looks like
Yeah.
within the organization. Any parting shots, Nancy?
Wow. Um, I think, first of all, thank you for having me.
Thank
It
you.
was an interesting and engaging session. And secondly, I just want to give people an encouragement. Sometimes some people are living in a very negative environment or even mindset, thinking all hope is lost. I would like to encourage you, it is not. So let us practice gratitude, because when you are able to look at the things you can be grateful for, being alive, are you happy to be alive? Are you grateful that at least you have food today? And you can name, there are people who love you. Are you happy? Are you grateful for your health? It could be worse. The things, if you can name three things you're grateful for every day, it just helps reset your mindset and you start being positive. That is one. Secondly, I want to encourage all of us that in 2026, may we challenge ourselves to be better than we were last year. Let us make a commitment to ourselves that we will invest in ourselves. Pick up a course. If you're not going to the gym, invest in your health, exercise, sleep early, limit screen time. If you're going to increase screen time, it's for learning. Read, or if you are a Kindle person, read. If you don't like reading, whatever it is that you like to watch, at least dedicate some time into your personal growth. Look at your CV, see whether your CV has got the skills needed for a particular job. Interview yourself and ask you whether are you actually the best candidate for this role. If you are the hiring manager, why would they hire you? It's not about, oh, I know my sister, she's a single mom, she has gone through hardship. She left her husband. I don't know, he was, and all those stories. No, people want someone with the right attitude, with the right energy for the job. If you applied for a job, you knew it had constraining working. Why did you apply? Because now we've got because of internet accessibility, AI. There are people who are hired also to just ensure they've got they're posting for AI. They can respond, those chatbots, when you're at weird hours, 3 a.m., there's someone there responding to you. Are you able to do that job? Why did you apply? Or were you just testing? Yeah. So my parting shot is just be positive, know your why, work on your personal development plan, invest in yourself. Let us grow, let us focus, concentrate, be persistent, remove the constraints, have the courage to attack your tasks. Yes. And award yourself when you do well. Yes.
I
Award
like that.
yourself. Yes. When you do well, yeah, pat yourself in the back. Yeah, because yeah, things are not easy.
Life is hard
Watie
as it
moyo
is.
pole. Asante.
Kweli kabisa.
Mm,
Thank you, Nancy. I cannot
thank you
thank you
too.
enough, for sparing the time, sharing your
Yes.
insights. Everyone that joined us on LinkedIn, all those joined us on YouTube, thank you so much for your patronage. I thank you for joining us on today's session. Topic was a front row to talent, stories, patterns, and hard truths. So I think the discussion tonight was not only enlightening, but it's also challenging. Challenge the status quo
Mm,
and take the time, as Nancy says, invest in yourself. You're your only greatest cheerleader.
yes.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I will see you on the next episode of Unplugged with Ross. Have yourselves a lovely evening, or depending whatever time zone you're in, and I'll see you in the next session. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye.